you know you're on the right track when other companies are trying to offer the same things that you do. Hey there, welcome to my epic journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Here we are on the journey from 600 to 0 to 600 plus and everything that falls in between. Last weekend, something that fell in between is being a parent of a high school graduate and getting ready. My daughter's already selected the college that she's going to, staying close by, so that's cool. Very nice, only a couple hours away, and we got to go tour the campus and just trying to figure out some last minute things as far as like housing, stuff like that, so we can get her up and running and rolling for the next chapter in her life. We're very excited for her on that. But it was, things are starting to get a little bit more real now. You kind of, the soccer ended, and then you're like, okay, well, we still have, the rest of high school left. And then you get the rest of high school, you go to we still have graduation left. You go to graduation and you're like, all right, well, we still have the summer left. And now we're kind of sitting here going, it's, she's almost off to college. And she's a young senior. So she won't be 18 until September. So she will be in her third year of college before she hits her 18th birthday, which is pretty cool. Very proud of her. Very excited for what she's got going on and where things are going. And man, I mean, it's so exciting right now for kids in school, like whether or not they go to school or not. Side story of why my daughter is in her third year of school. We actually found a school locally. So she played soccer, but she didn't really do many of the like social gatherings. Never went to football games, anything like that. So we kind of came to her, and at a point she really wanted to go. She wasn't sure if she wanted to go to college, but she knew that she really wanted to go to Japan. When she graduated high school, she wanted to go to Japan. Asked her, what made you, like, what does that look like? Does it, like, you're going for like graduation gift, like for a couple weeks? Is it you're going for the summer, for 6 months, study abroad, a couple years? Like, what does that look like? And so she really wasn't sure yet. So we kind of sat down with her and was like, why don't you go to this school? You're getting college credit. So if you do decide to go to school, you go to college right after. But if you decide that you want to take a couple years off and you go out, get some life experience, you come back, you're going to be picking up right where the rest of your peers are, in your junior year. So now, she got into it and she actually enjoyed school, and she found a program that she wanted to go to. And so now she's essentially going to have, if everything, she graduated with her, graduated high school with her AA, and now is just working towards her bachelor's degree. So, but like I said, what an exciting time. Things like this, I didn't know if they really existed back when we were in high school. But now it's really cool that the kids are getting the opportunity to go into different, avenues and check different things out at such a young age. So that's very excited for all these kids that have, like YouTuber wasn't a job, when we were growing up, right? And I've told my kids forever, think about what it is that you want to do in life, and for a living, and it doesn't have to exist yet, because there's so many jobs right now that didn't exist back when I was in high school. Again, like a YouTuber, or and I'm not talking about a YouTuber that makes millions and millions of dollars a year. I'm talking about a YouTuber that makes like 75, 80 grand a year, like Gary Vee talks about all the time. Like there's a spot there for people, and it doesn't have to be like the LeBron James, the Michael Jordan of YouTube to make a successful living off of it. So, very excited for that, and that's kind of what we've been up to the last over the weekend. But what I wanted to get into today is a little bit about when you're things that you're doing or you're on the right track of what you're doing, is when you see people that look at what you're doing and then they shift to do things similar to you, because they understand that it's not just an idea. It's not just like a couple people. There's a lot of people that are interested in this. And there's been two companies recently. I don't mind naming them. It's not a slam on them in either way, but two companies that have made announcements in the last month or so that have really, that I believe what Epique is doing has absolutely made an impact. And I think the agents kind of spoke, whether or not it was verbally or with making their decision of where they were going and things like that, that kind of put these certain things on the map. So first was EXP. Epique has no FLQAs, and everyone that's been listening for any amount of time knows that one of the main reasons that I left EXP was because we had FLQAs. And I looked long term, and I said, will I be able to stay consistent? And again, this isn't a blast on EXP at all. That's just what the model was, and that model didn't fit what I was trying to do. The reason I have to give that disclaimer is because I've had multiple people tell me that I got to be careful about how I'm talking about EXP, which I've never said anything negative. It just didn't work with what I was trying to do, and in long term, I knew it was going to be harder and harder as I progressed. So anyways, they redid their model, the rev share model, to help alleviate some of those challenges. For instance, now like levels 1 through 3 are open at all times. That's great. I'm very, very happy for all my friends that are there. Good for EXP for understanding that was something that agents want. The most recent one is is LPT, excuse me, just announced that they're going to offer, similar. I didn't see all of them, but I saw a couple of them as far as like, leads and CRMs. Obviously there's 100% platform that you can choose, which I don't think you get any of this stuff. But then you can choose to pay for different versions, kind of like a a la carte type deal where you get different packages. It would appear. Don't quote me on it. Go ahead and do your research for that. But what I do know is that I saw that there was, telehealth and things like that, that were added on there, very similar to some of the things that we have. And I'll go back to, and I'm very happy for them too. This is not not talking trash on LPT at all. This is me, saying, hey, we're on the right track because now other people are adding these things. And congratulations for all those agents at LPT that now have the option or the ability to access those things. And I'll say this goes all the way back in, I think it was last August when I went with Sam to go meet with Josh and Chris, two of the co-founders out in Temecula and Palm Desert. And, I part of the reason I went out there, I shared this story, recently, part of the reason I went out there was to see how real these guys were. And I heard multiple times somebody ask Josh off camera, CEO, co-founder, CEO, off camera, and said, what happens if other brokerages start offering these things? And he said, perfect. Like we want to change it. So for the agent experience should be different. And whether it's just us doing it or other brokerages are following suit, then yes, please, by all means, please do it. And so that's kind of where I have had that for a long time. I'm excited that these other brokerages are getting these things. The reality is that I'm not going to recruit 100% of all agents. All agents are going to go where they feel they need to be. Like I was actually talking to a broker of another company today who I happen to know, and I had a conversation because I called someone that was in their brokerage to not talk about anything about Epique. I was inviting him to an event that we're going to have that's not an Epique event. It was just an event, and I said, hey man, you want to come check this out? And I was like, oh yeah, I know your broker. So I just reached out and said, hey, we were just talking about you. I told him you're a rock star. That's it. Like, there doesn't need to be anything. So like to be concerned, for me to be concerned what other brokerages are offering in that way, I kind of don't. I'm not necessarily concerned, and I'm not necessarily like upset when they do offer certain things. I think it's actually kind of cool. Like Josh said, like, will other brokerages start offering it? Perfect. And that means we're making a difference and that we're on the right track. The same thing you've heard me say on here before. I've had, you have no many, I don't know how many times, it's many times that I've heard either someone tell me, that they watched my videos and I'm the reason they decided to join, or that I've heard somebody tell me that, oh yeah, everybody tells me that they're watching your videos, and that's whatever. I don't have the statistics on that. I'm not claiming that I'm some kind of guru or anything, but what I'm saying is that people are telling me that they're joining, even if they're not joining with me. Obviously, if they join with me, then I'll know. But if they don't, and they join with somebody else, same thing with the brokerage, right? If they join somebody else and they come to me and say, hey, your video is what made me join, then that means I'm doing something right. I'm on the right track, right? So now if you're seeing other brokerages add different things because they think that they're going to be able to bring more agents in that way, and they're adding the things that we already have, then that means we're on the right track, right? So that's that's something I wanted to put out there, and on the flip side as well, it's like, we don't necessarily need to be upset. One thing I find very fascinating is how much agents are getting after each other and what brokerage they're at and why your brokerage isn't as good and why this is better. Well, all this blah 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 blah, blah all this stuff. Like I don't understand if it happens in other like industries. Is it like if you worked for like Alaska Airlines or Delta Airlines and you went to Southwest, are they like those pilots or like flight attendants or like gate agents like talking trash to you? Oh, can you believe Nancy? She went over to Southwest. Oh my gosh, that's so dumb. What a dumb move. Like, I don't know. Somebody, if you are in another industry and you happen to come across this, please tell me if this happens in your industry, because I'm very fascinated by why this is, and I'm just curious about how long it's been this way. If it's always been that way, and I've just recently noticed in the last, I really hadn't noticed until I joined EXP, and that was, so almost over 6.5 years ago. So that, so I don't know, maybe it was always around and I just didn't pay attention to it because I was 100% brokerage, like boutique brokerage, like blinders on, not knowing anything about anything. So I'm curious to see if it has always been that way. And then also if you're in another industry and that happens in your industry as well. It's just fascinating to me, why people do that. And especially in a time right now where we have like lawsuits against our association and like things that, like everyone is kind of, not everyone, but like the country has their eyes on us, and like kind of where we're like probably need each other more now than ever. And we're sitting here like blasting each other over things, over you don't provide this, or why would you do that? Like, I don't get it, man. There's a lot of business out there. There's a lot of agents. But it's, like you think that we would kind of stand together and prop each other up. But you don't really don't see that often, which is I don't know if it's concerning. I guess I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. But yeah, overall, if you're doing something and people, I'm not going to say copycats, like, oh, they copied us. They started using, because we've been named a copycat, right? Because another cloud brokerage. Okay, so what if I was another franchise brokerage, and am I a copycat now? Like, I opened up a pizza place. Am I a copycat? Like, what? Something becomes new. It's not like it can be the only one. And then other people take those ideas and go, hey, you know what I liked about this is that they have this, and so I'm going to change it to this. And so, anyways, if you're doing something in your business and somebody's copying you, or like replicating, I don't want to say copy, replicating, then you're on the right track, man, because they see something that you're doing is right. And, I don't know, I think we can all work together, but maybe I'm naive. But anyways, I mean, I just want to say, if you are doing something right, the audience, the public, the people, the watchers will let you know, not by what they say necessarily, but by their actions. So I definitely believe that we are on the right track. So, all right, hopefully you're on the right track as well. And I will see you on the next one. Have a great one.